So for the bush model that we looked last week, there was like a problem. I just tried to open it up in Mudbox and I realized there's a problem. It gave me like a wrong displacement map. That was because the model was probably modeled very roughly in Mudbox using like very rough like a rough technique. So what I tried to do is to open it again. The original file, which I believe has 7 levels of resolution. It is a heavy file, so let's I think we should try to make the resolution, try to get away with 4 levels instead of 7. We don't really have the luxury to work with that high of a resolution. What I tried to do last week, even though it looks really nice right now, but we can achieve this detail with a combination of displacement map and bump mapping. So so I understand that we really want to get this detail. However, we're going to be quite far from it, so it's even if you see it here, we're kind of losing it. We're losing the detail. We can achieve that with like paint and displacement map and bump mapping on the top of it. What I'm going to do now is take this model. This model has a problem. I ran into a lot of problems last week, so that's why I did not upload the video on the server. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and look at the sculpt layers. There's some sculpt layers here. Also, I think this is level 7. If I go to the object list, I will see, no, it's like level 9 levels, so we have like even more. It says here we're like really high. I would not recommend that, especially for a prop. Something that is like in the background, I would not recommend that high of a resolution. First of all, it slows down our work, and we don't really have the gear in the workshop to deal with all this level of information. So I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it to level 1, not 0, just I need some information. And I'm going to redo the whole process from the beginning. So what I'm going to do is select this model in this level and export. And I'm going to export it as an OBJ. So let me create a new folder. This is going to be the new bush prop. So this is going to be our sort of new study, and I'm going to send it back to Maya as an OBJ, so there's not much information in it. I want to kind of reduce the information. I don't want any textures, so I'm going to save it as an OBJ. If I go back to Maya, I'm going to import that. So go up to OBJ, make sure file type OBJ, open, import. Of course it comes into the Maya space really huge. We're not going to do anything here, we're just going to click 5 and look at the model. already I have a there's a little bit of a problem a lot of times, and I will explain again later that when the displacement map doesn't work, and usually the problems with displacement maps is when you bring something from Mudbox to Maya and you plug in the displacement map into the model in the hypershade, you press render and then all of a sudden you see these weird spikes coming out, which it's some sort of weird artifact happening in the rendering, which we don't want. That's what was happening. I believe the reasons are multiple. First of all, the UVs. With poorly made UVs, we might have that problem. We might have issues with overlapping geometry, like it's going on right here. So that's why what I meant about taking it to Mudbox and roughly throwing a lot of like a lot of brushes or very rough stencils on it might kind of corrupt the geometry. So what I'm going to do is clean this up. I'm going to select it and get the sculpt tool in Maya. Hold down the shift key so I can start smoothing it. I'm going to smooth it. The smooth tool here in Maya is really good. It's like it works exactly like Modbox. Just going to smooth this area so I don't have any overlapping geometry. It kind of smooths out the faces. So it looks okay. You can go ahead and smooth more if you wanted to, but this is fine. I'm going to delete the history. Open the UV texture editor from the window, actually, UV texture, and look at the UVs. This is what we had, and this is coming probably from an automatic mapping, which it's the cheap way to do it. I'm going to redo the automatic mapping, so selection tool, select, and do an automatic mapping. I get the same thing. It's fine. It's in one tile. We're gonna start. If we have some prop closer, we might want to use more tiles, but let's use this for now. Let's make a very simple displacement map. And again, since we're using one tile, that's kind of a low res. Remember, if we use more tiles, we get a higher res image. We give the model a higher resolution. Therefore, if we have more tiles, then we can go ahead and work in Modbox with higher levels also. It makes sense if we have more tiles. But if we only have one tile, I don't believe we want to go up to level 9 in Modbox. So object mode, select, and now I'm going to export it to Modbox as an OBJ. I don't want to export FBX yet. I'm going to go, this was to Maya, now this is to Modbox. So bush to Modbox 01. This is an OBJ file, export. And I'm going to create a new scene here. So what I did was I cleaned up this mesh that I got last week from the workshop, and now I'm just going to create a new scene in Modbox and do an import. I have my new folder here somewhere. Let's see, it's right here. This is the new bush prop. So this is to Modbox. And I have this model here. Let's see the wireframe. Right click on and turn the wireframe. Now I'm just gonna throw a texture. Like, I'm not gonna use the brushes that you guys were using in the workshop. I'm just gonna go ahead and use like random stencils from here just for the demonstration. But first I'm going to make this mesh flatten to UV space so I can paint it really quick. Go to the paint tools, get the paintbrush, grab a green color here, green color, okay, and click on it, TGA 248, that's fine, okay. I just want to color it. Let's increase the brush strength and try to color everything. The problem here, usually what happens with these models is that if you see It's a very nice model made in Maya, but the UVs are kind of cut. We didn't spend the time to make the UVs. Now we can use other applications to do the UVs quite fast. I think we should do that so we have cleaner UVs for everything, since we're not doing it in Maya. So some of these areas are difficult to get, so we have to kind of insist to get all the paint. But I'll leave this just to see why, if these are not painted well, we can actually look when it's built back together. You can notice the seam, which is the bad thing. But we're gonna fix that if we unfold the UVs in a better way. So I'm gonna go back to mesh and unflatten from UV space. Go back. You can see already that I was painting it, and you can actually see here the seam. So you can go ahead and let's take this stamp off. Kind of paint over to cover that seam. I was using the randomize, so that's why it's taking time to apply the texture. But if I don't use that, I can actually paint over it. So I'll leave that inconsistency here, just so we can see it in Maya also. Now I'm going to increase the clicking Shift D and increase it to, let's say, level. Let's go 4. Let's use 4 as our like final level, and I go over that. Let me pause this video and create a new one, because so we can let it calculate.